Alright, that's that evening's worth of sowing done. One of the best things about growing a garden is it forces you to think in the long term, because otherwise it's like, what do we humans do? For the most part, we do stuff that is short term enough, you know, as in, how many of us can say that we have projects that are, you know, predominantly ours in terms of being our responsibility, for which we have to think in the long term? Not a very many of us. So one of the things I enjoy about this opportunity that I have here to grow this garden is it forces me to think in the long term and to think about many factors that you otherwise wouldn't be thinking about. Like, for example, I'm planting all those seeds there. That's 60 seeds plus the experimental seeds. I have to think, where am I going to put those when they become seedlings? I have to think, how big are they going to grow? So how much space do they demand? So how far apart do I have to plant each plant? So on and so forth. There are a good few considerations. I have to think, all right, if it's a sunny summer, which it will be, given the whole climate thing, how much water is each plant going to demand? And have I the infrastructure to provide said water? As a thought experiment, I think to myself, what would be required here? As in, how many liters of water per meter squared does each plant demand, generally speaking? You know, you're hardly going to go down to the variety of the specific breed or species of plant. Like, this particular variety of tomato demands this much water per meter squared across time. This other variety demands a different amount, similar but different, and if you don't get it right, then you got it wrong. So it's not that specific, but nonetheless it induces within one the sorts of thoughts that are long term in their projection across time. Which is, I think, important. And also, on top of this, how many people can say that they have a project that is their sole responsibility and they're seeing it done from start to finish, from the beginning to the end? Like, just think about the corporate work environment. Projects are split up across so many departments and across so many people in each department, and you're given a tiny little chunk of that project, and you submit whatever chunk you have, and you never get to see the end result, so you don't get that satisfaction, and it's like, whew, that is a recipe for burnout. So there's a few thoughts after having planted Manny's the seed this evening. Today we're going to sow once more. The question is, what are we going to sow? Let's turn to our lunar calendar. Ah, funky stuff. Let's see. April 18. Tomatoes have to be sown once more. Now we know exactly what to sow. Need to create some more of these. 16 more to be precise. Boom, done. Now what's special about this time around is that we have some worm castings. Voila. There you have it. What's the potting mix this time around? Let's go for 1 part general potting mixture, 1 part farmyard manure, 1 part native or autochthonous soil. Let's dump the whole lot of this worm castings into the mix. Let's start with the tomatoes. Now, if you recall, in a previous video, we sacrificed these poor tomatoes. So we'll sow them up this time around. So here's how I'm gonna do it. We have the substrate that we mixed up. I'm gonna put that into one of these pots, and then when we get near to the top, I'll put in a sprinkling of the worm castings so that the seeds, as soon as they germinate, boom, they're in contact with that fertility. The poor neglected ones first. I will not make the same mistake as I made last time. H2O, the giver of life, and the taker. Just depends on the context, doesn't it? Now it's time to sow some paprika, spicy paprika. Pimiento picante. Let's get to work. I'm taking my time on my ride. Taking my time on my ride. Be good. Good start to life. Here we go. Boom. What's next? 17. Orders up. Boom.